Let's take a look at graphing a constant function, and specifically the purpose here is to look at it on a restricted domain. So a constant function is simply f of x equals a number, meaning that no matter what the input is, the output is the same number every time. So an example of this might be f of x equals 2. So you can imagine, just to get a feel for this, if the input is 2, if the input is any number, the output is going to be 2 no matter what. Notice that there's no x here on the output. So the output here does not depend on the input. Okay? So if you were to graph this, this is going to be a horizontal line. Because let's just look at some ordered pairs here, some inputs and outputs. If the input x is -3, then the output is 2. So you get when x is -3, y is 2. If x is 0, y is still 2, right? So you get when x is 0, y is 2. And so you can start to imagine that no matter what x value you plug in, y is going to be 2, right? So if you were to graph that, you end up with this horizontal line at +2. Okay? Now let's consider what would happen if we went back and we modified the original function to be f of x equals 2 if x is less than or equal to 3. Alright? If x is bigger than 3, we can't use this definition, so this function is not going to have any output if x is bigger than 3. So what that means is we're going to come down here, and our line is going to now, I'll graph this in red, the equation of this is going to go up to where x is 3, right? So if x is less than or equal to 3, the output is 2. So the graph of that restricted domain function is this red graph. It's the blue graph cut off at 3. And let me get rid of this blue stuff so we can see that a little better. So here's the graph of this constant function on this restricted domain. When x is less than or equal to 3, the output's 2. Otherwise, there's nothing. Now I want to look at the constant function f of x equals -4, so my output's always going to be -4, but only if x is greater than 2. So x is 2 here, the output would be -4, so -1, 2, 3, 4. The output's not -4 at 2 because it says only if x is bigger than 2. So I put an open circle here, and then I draw my function for values of x that are bigger than 2. So this is the graph of this function, and what's important here is we don't want to include where x equals 2, so we have to put an open circle where that point would have hit. Alright? And that's all there is about graphing constant functions on restricted domains.